Today, we are going to be working on this. Now, this one's kind of wonky, I know, and you can't see it very well. Maybe you can see it better on this. I'll show a little different side of it too. And it's kind of hard to see all the different color changes just because I was using some crazy yarns. I've been making these like crazy, you guys. It's been nuts. Okay, here's another one. You can kind of see the color changes a little better on that one, just because these colors were the kind of main color that I use every other round, and this one was a different color. This one was a different color, but I made it a lot easier. Like I said, these were variegated and variegated scraps. With these, I'm going to be using just single colors so that it's going to be easier to see the different changes. Ooh, the hook I'm using tonight, Samantha, is the size 7, which is a G hook or a 4mm. Here's this one. This is kind of this is like browns and blues, variegated browns and blues. And there's I don't know if you can see the honeycomb stitch in that real well. You'll be able to see it a lot better with the solid colors. For all of these, all of these that I've been doing, and that one up there, which is not this Afghan, I used Ice Yarn Magic. They were a mixed lot, leftovers of Magic Glitz, Magic Light, and Magic Baby. And so these are basically just scraps. But this yarn right here that I'm using is KC Knit and Crochet. Let me move it over, see if you guys can see. I got to get the movement over a little better. 48% cotton, 52 viscose. And I wouldn't worry too much on the brand necessarily. Just, I'm using a 3-weight. And this is a 3-weight. You know, if you're going to make this scrap blanket out of different scraps, you just want to make sure that they're all 3 weights. Or if you do 4-weight, they're all 4 weights, 2-weight, all 2 weights. You know, just make sure that they're all the same so that all the stitches are even. And you'll see what I mean when we get into it a little more. But for tonight, I am using 3-weight yarn and a G hook. We are making an Entrelac honeycomb stitch Tunisian crochet blanket. And I'm going to make it seem very simple. You don't have to have a whole, it doesn't matter how many different colors you have. Maybe anywhere from, as long as you have 2 different colors, that's what matters. What I like to do when I've got kind of sloppy yarn that is not behaving itself on the outside, and I know even if I take it from the middle, it's just going to keep all falling apart over here, I'm just going to start unwinding it until it holds together a little better. All right, now this is Tunisian crochet with a regular hook. I'm using a prim hook. Is that coming in okay? Is that clear? Okay, so you got your yarn and you got your hook. And then you just chain, make a knot, and then chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ooh, this is a little slippy sidey. Okay, so you got a chain of 11. And this is going to be the beginning of your very, very first square in your blanket. You know how people usually use regular Tunisian crochet hooks? You don't need to use the big, long Tunisian hook because it's a series of squares. So I'm going to hold it up close and not in that first, oh, yikes, sorry. Not the first chain where the loop's coming out of, but that second chain you want to put in and pull up a loop. And then in the next chain, put yarn over, pull up a loop. And you're just keeping those loops on your crochet hook there. The next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. So now you have, including that very first one from when you made the chain, you have 3 more loops on your hook. So then the next one is 4. The next one, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So you should have 10 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops, 11 because of that very first one. I am going to start the pass back through. So, got this. You're going to, on that very first loop, pull through that first one. Okay, now for the rest of the way down, you are going to be pulling through the next 2. So pull through 2, wrap around. 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 Through 2, wrap around. Pull through 2, wrap around. Okay. So after the first, this right here is what you call one row. So going across at the very beginning, pulling up all the loops is the first part of the row. And when you come back and close all those stitches, that's the second part of the row. And this yarn on the right is what I'm going to be using for the main color, and it is Dara Morris Studio Anti-Pilling DK, and it's a 3-weight also. We're going to do the first part of row 2. Let me bring it up a little closer. Okay, so this time it's going to get a little tricky. We're going to go, see how that first leg, when you look at the row, let me get it in more focus there. It has those little legs. Now, not this first one right here. You don't, if you go in there, it'll start making your project bigger. You want to go in this next one right there, go under that leg, wrap around whichever way you wrap around, and pull through. Now, pull this towards the front. And this is the purl Tunisian stitch. So on that next leg, you go under, wrap around, and pull through. And then you alternate those stitches the rest of the way down. So this is, so far we've done 1, 2. This is going to be 3, and you're holding the yarn in the back. Put it through, wrap around, pull through. And then you're going to do the purl Tunisian stitch, which you bring the yarn forward, put it through the leg, wrap around, and pull through. Go to the back, put through the leg, wrap around, pull through. Bring the yarn forward, put through the leg, wrap around. Now you see, I kind of hold it with my thumb. It just makes it a little easier to pull through. Pull it towards the back, pull it through put it through the leg, wrap around, pull through. Bring it to the front, put it through the leg, wrap around, pull through. Take it to the back, wrap around, pull through. Okay, now when you get to the point where you should have 9, 1, 2, 3, oops, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, well, 10 on this first square. It's going to have 11 across, and then for all the other ones, it's going to be 10. And that's just because it has that extra side that you have to start out with. Oh, thank you, Yarn Fairy. Samantha, I'm going to be doing these every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Okay, now here's where a lot of people have difficulties at the end of this row. What you want to do, what your goal is at the end of the row is to make it kind of look like, you know, another chain side of stitches going up here. So you want to take your hook, let me get it as close as I can, and you want to put it through those 2 legs right at the very end. And I don't know if you can see that very well. Put it through those 2 legs, wrap around, pull through those 2 legs. And for this very first square, you will have 11 of these loops on the hook. Oh, Olia, hurry. Okay, so now when you have the 11 loops and you're ready to go back to finish the second half of row 2, what you do is you wrap around and make a chain right there. Now, that very first one, you just go through 1. And then you wrap around, go through 2. Wrap around, go through 2. Wrap around, go through 2. This is the easy part. And what I always do is I like to count to make sure that I've got the right amount of stitches. I've already counted it once, so I know I'm going through all 11 right here. But that's what the second row should look like. So that's the end of row 2. And for this first square, we're going to be making, I believe it's 9. I believe it's 9 rows. It may be 10, but I will know when we get to the end of it. Okay, so this time, you remember how we started out with the Tunisian, the simple stitch is the one where you're holding the yarn in the back. The purl stitch is the one where you're holding the yarn in the front. So this time, since you'll always, on these rows, for this particular pattern, you will start with a simple stitch, you will end with a simple stitch. The next row, you will start with a purl stitch, and you will end with a purl stitch. Okay, let's do the second row. Okay, this is a purl stitch, so a purl Tunisian stitch. So you pull it out in front, go under that first leg, and we're purling into the previous row's, knit stitch or simple stitch. Here you go. And then the next one that has the purl in it, you'll be able to tell it has a purl in it because it has that bump right on the front. Wrap around, pull it through. And then we're going to be making a purl stitch into the simple stitch. So stick it through that leg, wrap around, pull it through. And so far we've done 1, 2, 3, plus 1. Then we're doing a knit into a simple into the purl. And then a purl into the simple. And then a simple into the purl. And then a purl into the simple. And a simple into the purl. And a purl into the simple. So we've made 9 loops on the hook. We've got that number 10, or the 10th one right here, and the 11th one is going to be that last row where we go through the 2 legs. Okay, and we started with a purl Tunisian stitch, we ended with a purl Tunisian stitch, and then we go through those 2 legs. And see those 2 legs? It looks like a chain stitch. So you just see, I don't know if you can see it super well, but see, it looks like it's like a chain stitch right there. Wrap around and just pull through that. And then wrap around, make a chain. See, that's what you're going through every time you come to the end of that row, is you're going through that chain that we just made right there. Now, you go back through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the 9 that I counted were just the main 9 ones. This is 11, and this is that first one. Okay, what do you guys think so far? You can start seeing the honeycomb pattern a little bit now. You can't see it super duper well right now. And now we're going to start the next row. Okay, this time, and you don't chain or anything on this side. Since that last stitch of the last row was a purl, we're going to do a simple Tunisian stitch. Simple. Purl. Oops. Simple. Oops. That was kind of splitty. Purl. Simple. Pearl. Simple. Pearl. Simple. And then we get down to the very end, and we've got that chain that we made last time. At the end of the row, we go through the 2 legs. Oops. This yarn's a little splitty. Pull through. Oh, I went through too many. 1, 2, through, chain 1, and then you go back down. Oops. You go back down, and you go through 2 all the way down now. And to make this square, to make the honeycomb stitch, the Tunisian honeycomb stitch is just a 2-row repeat. Basically, it's an odd number of knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, simple, purl, simple, purl, simple, purl. And then the next row is purl, simple, purl, simple, purl, simple. Start back down the row, and we're starting this one off with a purl. Purl. Simple. Purl. Simple. Purl. Oops. Simple. Purl. I really like this yarn. Whoops. Simple. Yeah, this doesn't, the honeycomb stitch doesn't curl. Quilty, this doesn't curl at all. Read this a little bit more. Get down to the end of the row. Put it through that chain that we made the last time. Pull through. Make another chain. And then yarn over, pull through 2 loops all the way down to close up those loops. Yeah, definitely don't want to do it too tight. Solid yarn might be easier to see. Yeah, and I thought this was going to be a little more solid. Okay, well, if you guys are doing good, I'm gonna work along here. I'm not gonna sing though. I'm gonna hold myself back from singing. But I'm gonna finish up this square. If you have any questions, Okay, so I've got the 9 rows. The 9th row should end with a purl stitch at the beginning. So 9 rows. And then the 10th row is going to be the finishing off on the top. Okay, so you've got your 9 rows right here. 9 little rows to make a square. Now, to close it off, to close off that top, what you're going to do is you're going to go into that first knit stitch right there, or I'm sorry, that first purl stitch. Like you're going to do a knit stitch, but you're going to wrap around and pull through both. And then to do a purl stitch, stick through, wrap around, and pull through both. Then do a simple stitch, stick through, wrap around, pull through both. Do a purl stitch. Oops. Yikes. Wrap around, pull through both. Knit stitch, wrap around, pull through both. Purl stitch, wrap around, pull through both. Knit stitch, wrap around, pull through both. Purl stitch, wrap around, pull through both. Knit stitch, wrap around, pull through both. And for that very last one, you go back through the 2 legs, you pull through both, and you find your scissors, and you leave enough tail to weave back in, and then just tie that off. Okay, that's what your first little square should look like.